I want to begin my speech by sharing with you two real stories that remind me and I think all of us of how state violence can destroy lives and dreams in our own country. The first story is of Abrar Fahad, a second-year student of BUET, Bangladesh University of Engineering Technology, the most prestigious university in Bangladesh. Abrar Fahad posted on Facebook criticizing a deal that then government had made with India, especially Indian aggression. For expressing his opinion, his own classmates, members of the regime student wing, terrorist Chhatra League, called him to their room. They tortured him the entire night, beating him with cricket stump and construction materials, kicking and punching him for hours, the whole night. When he begged for water, they denied him even a single drop. By dawn, Abrar was died. The second story is of Bishwajit Dash, a tailor from Old Dhaka. He was not a political activist, just an ordinary man walking home for lunch. Yet he was accused of being part of an opposition group and was lynched in broad daylight by those who claimed to protect the government. And the third story is of Riagop. It's a very emotional story. A 7-year-old girl who was shot dead by helicopter during July Revolution. She had no politics, no ideology, only a small dream to live and play. And during July Revolution, we lost about 2,000 our brother and sister, and about 40,000 our about severely injured 40,000 our brother and sister. So these stories claimed the regime may have fallen, but the pain remains. The silence of the disappeared still remain around us. There are thousands more stories like this. Thousands. We may not know all their names, but their pain is written in the heart of the nation. So today, as we stand together, we must ask ourselves, how can we heal as a nation if we never face the truth? There can be no healing without justice, and no justice without truth. That's why we are not asking for a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, because reconciliation often means forgive and move on. We are asking for a Truth and Healing Commission. Bangladesh needs a Truth and Healing Commission. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. Healing means remembering and transforming that memory into a strength. Dhaka University Central Student Union is ready to play its role in this process. We will stand beside the victim and their families. We will work to create a formal space where the oppressed and the survivors can speak freely, share their stories, and be heard with respect and empathy. Because a democratic future cannot be built on the silence of injustice. It must be built on truth, accountability, and healing. So, as we begin this conversation today, let it be a beginning of a new journey for Bangladesh, a journey from truth to healing, from pain to peace, and from fear to hope. Thank you so much for hearing. Thank you, our honorable guest.
I don't want to take too much of your time, as we have today two distinguished guests from abroad, from South Africa, who will share with us their experiences of moving from a society that was steeped in ignorance, stereotypes, xenophobia, racial discrimination based on ethnicity, based on color, and how their experience moved them to a society which is not utopian, but much better than what they used to experience and what they used to live in. Bangladesh today is in a critical juncture. The task of removing tyranny, oppression, or regimes that do not look after the welfare of their citizens is a monumental task. But even more monumental than that is to rebuild the country, to rebuild a nation, to rebuild the social fabric that has been eroded, to regain not just freedom but dignity. The July 24 movement, or July 36, as you all have very aptly framed it, is a movement for dignity, is a movement for others to respect one another as human beings, to prevent forms of discrimination. And this moving forward has to be built on two pillars. And these two pillars are one of justice, and the second is compassion. By justice, we speak about accountability. By compassion, we refer to healing. And we'll listen to stories from South Africa in their struggle on moving forward with these two pillars of justice and healing. Despite the challenges that we face, 1 year, 1.5 years is actually a very short time to rebuild, to rethink, to reimagine, to repostulate. One thing that we must not lose is hope. And I hear, I have been coming to Bangladesh for the last 12 months, probably once every month, and I sense a degree of pessimism as well, even among students. And, things are not going the right way, so many obstacles. I mean, removing an authoritarian regime wasn't also easy. But it happened because there was imagination, there was hope, there was effort, there was sacrifice. The same ingredients are also needed to rebuild Bangladesh, of reimagining what is our new country to look like. What does it mean to regain our dignity for all, regardless of race, gender, religion or the like. And that's the message that I'd like to leave you with, that no matter how difficult the path and the freedom, the path to freedom, justice, as you see in the experience, the South African experience, especially under the leadership of Nelson Mandela, ultimately they did. Democracy is always a work in progress. There are no perfect democracies. When we inherit a broken democratic system, it is our role as Democrats to build that system, to enhance that system, to perfect that system where we see the gaps. And I'll end with two quotes actually. One from our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. And this is all about hope. He once said to his companions that, if you have in your hand a sapling, like a seed, and you know that tomorrow the world is going to end, tomorrow, that's it, the last day, what do? He said, فَلْيَغْرِسْهَا. You know what? Plant it. Even though you know tomorrow is not to come. This is a message of hope. Many, many, many years later, the Italian philosopher Antonio Gramsci also echoed this when he said, what we must have, even if there is the pessimism of the intellect, when you look around, reality is difficult, challenging, you must have optimism of the will. May we all have that. Thank you, and it's an honor being here with you. Thank you.